Today, I will talk about the strongest build to pair with the Dark Moon Greatsword. I will go over the stats, talismans, spells, and armor to achieve the highest damage possible. By the end of this video, you should know how to make this weapon the absolute best it can be. The Dark Moon Greatsword deals magic and physical damage. The physical part scales with strength and dexterity, while the magic part scales with intelligence. It also has innate frostbite. This is a strong status effect that deals a chunk of damage and lowers defense by 20%. Its unique Ash of War lets you raise the sword in the air, imbuing the blade with frost. This will increase its magic damage and frost buildup, but most importantly, it will let you release frost blades with every charged attacks. This projectile has good range, does a lot of stance damage, and doesn't cost any FP after the initial cast. Here are the stats I recommend at level 150. A good mix of vigor, mind, and endurance. 16 strength and 11 dexterity to clear the weapon requirements. And finally, 80 intelligence, the main scaling stat of the weapon. This will increase our magic damage and give us access to almost every spell in the game. And talking about spells, this build is mostly about the weapon, but you might as well take advantage of your high intelligence. Terra Magica is a strong buff that will increase all magic damage when standing in its area of effect. This will not only buff your spells, but also your weapons and consumables. Great Blade Phalanx will spawn 3 large blades around you. They will target the nearest enemy after a few seconds and deal massive posture damage. This spell is a very good opener, giving you an almost guaranteed posture break after 1 or 2 charged attacks. These are the 2 most important spells for this build, as the weapon is the real star. But as I said, you might as well take advantage of your intelligence and throw in some offensive spells in there. Magma Shot is a fire projectile, useful to reset frostbite whenever you want. Glintstone Ice Grag is another quick projectile, good to keep the frostbite buildup going from range. Comet Azure doesn't need any introduction. It can trivialize some bosses like no other spell. And finally, any variant of the Comet spell, good to clear trash mobs in the open world and for a quick range option. For the staff, the best option is the Carrion Regal Scepter. It's good all around and available pretty early. You can also use Luzat's Glintstone Staff. This staff does more damage than the Carrion one, but every spell will cost 50% more FP. If you only plan to use Terra Magica, any old staff will do, as the buff it provides doesn't scale with staff level. Now a quick word about the armor. The Spellblade set will increase your Ash of War damage by 2% per piece of the set equipped. That's an 8% damage boost to every charged attacks while the Ash of War is active. Of course, it's optional. You can just go for fashion or a heavier set if you don't care about the little damage boost. Now for the talismans. Godfrey's Icon will increase our charged attacks by 15%. That includes not only spells and Ashes of War, but also charged attacks from the Dark Moon Greatsword. The Shard of Alexander will increase our Ash of War damage by 15%. You might think that this doesn't work on charged attacks, but as you can see, it actually does. The Sacred Scorpion Charm will increase our magic damage by 12%, at the cost of taking 10% more damage ourselves. And finally, the Ritual Sword Talisman. This will increase our damage by another 10% whenever we're full health. Some of you might be wondering why I didn't include the Axe Talisman in the build. As you can see in this comparison, the damage increase is so low it's really not worth using. For the Wondrous Flask, the Magic Shrouding Cracked tier is a must-have. It will increase all our magic damage by 20% for 3 minutes. The second tier is up to you. The obvious option would be the Spiked Cracked tier that increases charged attack damage. But just like the Axe Talisman, I find the damage increase to be pretty minimal. Your other best options are the Stonebarb Cracked tier for posture damage, or the Cerulean Hidden tier for unlimited FP. Remember to throw in any random dagger with Golden Vow on it for a free buff, and the build is all done. The rest of the video will be the usual showcase against some bosses. Thanks for watching, and see you later.